Ovigwe Eguegu. He is the co-founder of Afripolitica, also a policy advisor at the consultancy Development Reimagined. Thank you so much indeed again for joining us. We were speaking to last week about African, apparently very specific problems to Africa. Are coups a specific problem to Africa right now?
Well, I would say they are a problem in West Africa. If you add Chad, that would be West and Central Africa, and that is because you have a multiplicity of factors that are driving the coup, and that's why you see the narrative from country to country is about the same. It's either about poverty, trust, lack of trust in government and democratic process, and of course instability. So, and that is why for a period of about 15 years, there's been a serious, war going on in the Sahel, and that's gotten really worse in the last couple of years, particularly for countries like Burkina Faso, who they really made the news up until a few years ago that they became one of the main countries that suffer the attacks from Islamic State in West Africa province and Al-Qaeda linked networks. So that what you see in Burkina Faso, from my perspective, is nothing strange. It's to a large extent it was even expected because of the repeated concerns within the ranks of the army, disgruntlement in the military in particular, and that's something that led to what we're seeing today.
Ovigwe, you'll well know as an analyst that this idea of Western liberal democracy is something that is praised as the greatest aspiration that a people can have. But there are particular countries who say that's the way that a country should be governed. In terms of the people of Africa, and because it's such a young continent, do you feel that some of these coups, and Burkina Faso might actually be a good example, is that the popular opinion pushes the army to overthrow a democratically elected government for whatever reason the people are demanding? In Burkina Faso, it does seem as if security is a major issue, of course, for the people. But is democracy overrated in Africa? Would the people say, you know what, the most important thing is us, the way we live, the standard of living, keeping us alive, being able to feed our children, democracy or no democracy?
Yeah, I mean, in the continent, one of the most important things you would notice is the fact that in these coups, most often than not, they are democratically elected government that have been unseated or deposed, and that tells you a lot. For instance, let's look at Burkina Faso. Roch Macabore came into office in 2015 following uprisings in the country that led to elections, and then he became president. But at the time he took office, the security situation in Burkina Faso was much better than what we see today. So in a span of about 7 years, a democratically elected government has failed to deliver on its most primary function, which is security of life and property. And when there's a deterioration in security, the first two segments of population that suffer actually is the military that will have to fight those wars, and of course the civilian population. That is why you are seeing celebration on the streets, because these are people that have been dying day after day. We heard reports, particularly in the Tillabéri region, where Burkina Faso, Niger, and Mali, the tri-border area where they meet. The military has been losing fighters in those regions. They've even been losing some territories, to these belligerent groups, and of course, civilian people have been dying. So what you're seeing in Mali, for instance, in Burkina Faso, is the same situation in Mali. President Boubacar Keïta elected into office, re-elected again, and deposed because he just cannot deliver, these the dividends of democracy, starting with even peace and security. Guinea, the situation is the same. When they remove Alpha Conde, it was the same narrative: poverty and endemic corruption. So one of the major problems democracy faces on the continent is it just doesn't have the dividends. So you cannot. There is no trust in government, democratically elected or not. And that is why when we get from Western countries this narrative that, yeah, it is only through democracy, that, or at least liberal democracy, that countries can develop, well, that is not entirely true, because if you look at other parts of the world, we've seen countries who are not electoral democracies develop. So for us going forward, I think the emphasis has to be on good governance. How that good governance come, whether it's going to be through democratic process or not, that is not as important as whether the officials can deliver. And I think it is substantive accountability that is really, the objective of the African population. And at this point, democracy is yet to deliver that.
Yeah, accountability, a key word, always. Ovigwe, really appreciate it. Thank you so much indeed. Ovigwe Eguegu in Abuja.